My business partner stole $1.2 million, so I took his company, house, and reputation. This is the story of how my business partner stole over $1 million from me, and how I made sure he lost everything. The setup. A few years ago, I co-founded a highly successful tech company with a guy we'll call Steve. Steve and I had been best friends since college. He was the charismatic salesman, and I was the brains behind the operation. We built the company from the ground up, and after 3 years, we were pulling in millions in revenue. Everything was great, until I found out Steve was skimming money off the top. The betrayal. One day, while reviewing our finances, I noticed a few suspicious transactions. At first, it looked small, $10,000 here, $15,000 there. But after a deeper audit, I realized that Steve had been funneling company money into his personal account for over a year. Total stolen? $1.2 million. I confronted him, and he didn't even try to deny it. Instead, he laughed in my face. What are you gonna do? You can't prove anything without a long, expensive court battle. He then froze me out of the company, locked me out of our accounts, and told everyone I was trying to steal from him. That's when I decided, if he wanted a war, I'd give him one. Step 1, the legal trap. Steve was right about one thing, a lawsuit would take years. But he underestimated me. Instead of suing immediately, I did something better. I hired a forensic accountant to track every dollar he stole. I compiled emails, contracts, and transaction records proving his fraud. I dug through his business practices and found that he was committing tax fraud. With this evidence, I went to the board of investors. Step 2, the corporate coup. Steve thought he was untouchable because he owned 51% of the company, a controlling share. What he didn't know? The board hated him. They had seen how reckless he was. They knew he was bad for business. And now, I had hard proof of financial misconduct. I made them an offer: buy out Steve's shares and force him out, or I go public with the fraud. Step 3, the perfect backstab. The board voted to remove him and forced him to sell his shares at a loss. The company was worth $15 million at the time, and instead of cashing out big, he got a measly $500,000. But I wasn't done yet. Step 4, taking everything. I sent all evidence of his fraud to the IRS and state tax authorities. He was audited and hit with over $800,000 in back taxes, penalties, and fines. He lost his house trying to pay off his debts. His wife divorced him when she found out about his secret offshore accounts. The aftermath. Now, I run the company without him and it's doing better than ever. Steve is blacklisted from the industry and can't find work. Last I heard, he's living in a tiny rental, drowning in debt.